October is Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Some of you may not even know what dysautonomia is or have never heard of it before. We're going to talk about dysautonomia, and we're going to talk about one of our excellent success stories with that particular condition and how it changed this young lady's life. Mikaela, let's introduce you to the audience. So I'll just display some of this information here on screen, but go ahead and just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your backstory.
My name is Mikaela, and in 2010, I was at my freshman homecoming dance when I suddenly collapsed. Before that, I was completely healthy, so this was very sudden and unexpected. About a week later, I was in the hospital and I was diagnosed with dysautonomia after a table tilt test. From there, I had to be taken out of school. I had to be wheelchair bound, seizures, migraines, constant syncope episodes, you name it. I suffered with dysautonomia for 7 years before I found Celltex and experienced life-changing healing. And since then, I have been able to live life and been able to accomplish a lot of my goals. So it's been very, very life-changing.
Well, thanks for that introduction, Mikaela. So just to kind of recap, it's 2010, you're a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. Everything's normal. You're just getting started with, what many say is kind of the best stretch of your life. And then boom, out of nowhere, this problem occurs. So you mentioned that 7-year period between your diagnosis and finding Celltex. So maybe describe just a little bit more to the audience over that period of time, how things changed from your pre-diagnosis life versus kind of what transpired over that 7-year period.
Like I said, I was perfectly healthy beforehand. I was super excited for high school. I was in the orchestra. I had a big friend group, and the specific date was October 23rd. I remember being super excited leading up to it. Then on the dance floor, I was experiencing pain in my side. I would begin to feel lightheaded, and that's when the episode happened. Following my diagnosis, which I was very lucky to be diagnosed within 1 week, because dysautonomia patients usually it takes them a while to even receive a diagnosis. So once that happened, I was immediately wheelchair bound. Anytime I stood up, I would pass out. My blood pressure was extremely low all the time. I had severe migraines. I ended up having to get heart surgery because they found 3 holes in my heart. That was a big part of why I was having such extreme migraines. I began to have seizures, fibromyalgia, gastroparesis. This all happened within a 6-month period of being diagnosed, and this became my life for 7 years. I was constantly in the hospital, in and out of the ER. I've had multiple concussions from my syncope episodes. I tried numerous different treatments. I tried different kinds of medications. I tried IVIG. I tried holistic treatments. Nothing worked. And that was my life for 7 years. And because of that, I couldn't go back to high school, and I missed out on all of the major milestones teens are supposed to experience. So dysautonomia really did take over my life, and because of it, my future at the time was very uncertain. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to college, and at that time it was very unlikely. Before Celltex, I had come to the conclusion that this maybe just be what my life is going to look like.
A lot to take in there, and I remember some of this from our early conversations and first getting to know you, back in 2017 timeframe. I wanted to just reiterate a couple things that you mentioned. It's really unfortunate to have experienced what you did, but you mentioned being lucky about getting your diagnosis within a week, and this was back in 2010. I can tell you from my point of view, with a lot of the dysautonomia cases that we now encounter, it still seems to be a bit of a mystery or even a big gap or a big unknown for a lot of physicians out there. That it's just really poorly understood, frequently misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed. And that was all pre-COVID even. Now we have these post-COVID cases of dysautonomia-like issues that we're seeing very commonly. So it's a much bigger issue than I think a lot of people realize. So I think in addition to telling your story today and getting some great information from Dr. Jones, I think we'd like to take this opportunity, with it being Dysautonomia Awareness Month, to really educate the audience on what this is, because it's a condition that we need to understand a lot more. How would you kind of define dysautonomia for the audience, Mikaela?
Dysautonomia is the umbrella term for a set of conditions that affect the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system controls all of the involuntary functions in your body. So that includes heart rate, blood pressure, your digestive system. And so when the ANS is affected, it wreaks havoc on your body. The specific subtype of dysautonomia I have is neurocardiogenic syncope syndrome. The other type is POTS. No matter what subtype people have, everyone's experience is different. Not everyone experiences the same symptoms. Common symptoms with dysautonomia is the syncope, it's the low blood pressure, it's the high heart rate, tachycardia, migraines are common, extreme fatigue. That was a big one I experienced. I think I was asleep more often than I was awake. There is just so many different symptoms associated with dysautonomia.
We talked about kind of the pre-Celltex phase, and we'll get to the happier part of the story here shortly. How did you hear about Celltex, and then what transpired going forward from there?
I heard about Celltex for the first time. I was at a dysautonomia conference seminar at Memorial Hermann Hospital in the Med Center. And at the time, I had an organization for teens who had dysautonomia as well as other chronic illnesses. And all of a sudden, someone walked up and I recognized her as Sarah Hughes. And I had heard about her from my specialist. They had told me, I really need to connect with her, and that she was struggling and that the prognosis didn't look too good. And so when I saw Sarah, and just based on what I heard, and she was standing up, she was smiling, she looked really good. And I'm like, yeah, so I got to talking with her, and I'm like, you were doing so good. Well, what's going on? And she told me about Celltex, and her mom was with her, and they were going on and on about it. At that point, I had done so many treatments. I didn't really have much hope as far as treatments go, but seeing Sarah with my own eyes and hearing how much it helped her, my curiosity was piqued. So throughout the next few months, I continued to research into Celltex, into their stem cell technology. Then I had a episode where I passed out and landed backwards. And there was a moment where we thought I had broke my neck, just based on just the pain I was in, and I wasn't able to move it. And at that point, my mom and I were like, we can't have any more cases like this where it's eventually going to get bad. There's going to be one day where I get an injury that's going to cause severe damage. So we seriously looked into Celltex and began the process.
I was not in any pain. My back usually hurts so bad whenever I get back in bed. Then I woke up this morning and I feel so good. I haven't felt this good in a long time.
I saw the day after my first initial treatment, I was just blown away by how things were. So whenever I woke up that first morning, I actually thought something was wrong. I woke up and I'm like, what? Something's not right. But in actuality, it was the first morning in years I woke up and I wasn't in pain. And I forgot what that was like. And so I thought something was seriously wrong. And that was the first day I was able to go and read a novel, like multiple chapters of a novel without any issue, which prior, due to brain fog and just cognitive issues, I wasn't able to do that. instant results in my case with that. 6 months post-treatment, I was completely out of the wheelchair. My fatigue improved significantly. No more migraines, no more seizures. I began to function normally. And my life, just as quickly as my life changed whenever I first got sick with dysautonomia, my life just as quickly changed back to being healthy and normal again. And as more time went on, I just continued to get better and better. I initially went to esthetician school. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life because I hadn't really planned for it.
Sure.
I eventually decided to go to school for counseling psychology. And just since then, I've been able to do so much and be able to live life and do stuff that was just impossible before stem cells.
They have some good initial returns. You're waking up pain-free. You're reading from your novel, and you're feeling really good. So, tell us. That's back in 2017. Here we are in 2024. So, how have things trended up and down as far as how long do the results last? Tell us about kind of the booster therapy process, and just walk us through how we kind of manage this over a longer period of time.
I've gotten a booster infusion every year. Last year was the first year I went without, but having the boosters really helped to maintain the results. There was some days where my symptoms would come up a little bit. It was more of I just felt a little under the weather. It was nowhere near how it was before stem cells. So the dysautonomia is still there occasionally, but it's very muted. There are some ups and downs, but stem cells make it to where the symptoms are not severe. It keeps the body in balance as much as possible, just from what I've seen.
Are there any closing comments you'd like to make, or any advice you'd like to give people who are, maybe in similar shoes to where you were back in that 2010 range?
Yes, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me today. What I would say to someone who has been in my shoes and is on the fence and everything, I was once in that same position on, is this treatment something that will work for me? And I just highly encourage them to just bite the bullet and set up a consultation, get to talking with y'all. The stem cells are great, but also all of you who are staff at Celltex, everyone I've come across is just absolutely fantastic. And y'all provide such high quality care. So people who go to y'all will definitely be taken care of. But yes, I just say check it out. Not only has it provided me with life-changing healing, I know countless others where it's been the same case. Just basically, I can't recommend it enough.